Another sleepless night engulfed me, plunging me into an empty void of restlessness. Neither slumber nor wakefulness offered solace. Engaging in chores proved futile as the night seemed to stretch endlessly. Only 2 hours of sleep came before the intrusive alarm tore me from my bed. I reluctantly confronted my reflection in the mirror, where a tired and grumpy face stared back, testament to the restless night's toll. The ceaseless struggle with insomnia persisted, leaving me to face another day with the burden of exhaustion. I still remember the days I prayed to have this life. After having a cup of black coffee, I got in my car to go to work. I put on some unknown radio channels, not knowing what they were talking about. However, hearing anything other than my own mind helped me get through the way. Almost no one was around at work, making it such a quiet day. For a short period of time, this solitude made me feel comfortable. When I got to my lab, I was taken aback by the unexpected crowd. People were lining up to see what's through the glass observation room. Their loud whisperings filled the air, disrupting the usual quiet atmosphere. After a short period of time, I understood their curiosity. The sight within the observation room was the most extraordinary and agonizing thing I had ever seen in my life. 2 conjoined men were struggling in apparent discomfort. Initially, I assumed they were conjoined twins, but I soon learned that they were not even related. Their bodies had merged despite originally being separate individuals. As I listened to the explanation of their situation, it became clear that they were not in a state to share their own story. Their pain was palpable, rendering them unable to partake of the food and water we offered throughout the day. The mystery of their condition left us all in awe and concern, and their silent suffering stirred a deep sense of empathy within me. I thought to myself that the only relative we could get in touch with was one of those men's mother. Unfortunately, his mother had not been in touch with his son for many years, and had no clue about what was happening to him. I felt that these men must have been so lonely. That night I had no trouble falling asleep. I lay in bed feeling an immense sense of comfort. After years of feeling disconnected from the world, I had finally found a way to feel alive again. The next morning, I woke up effortlessly and looked at my reflection in the mirror, feeling genuinely happy. On my way to work, I listened to my all-time favorite song, eagerly anticipating the situation I was about to observe. In the observation room, I rushed to see them, but their bodies were no longer the same. Their conjoined bodies now consisted of only one melted head, one arm, and one leg. It suddenly became clear to me why they didn't need to eat, as they were consuming their own flesh. However, there wasn't enough flesh to sustain them for a lifetime, and I couldn't help but wonder when they would be fully consumed. Their deformed head managed to offer a faint smile as they tried to communicate their story to me. Unfortunately, at that moment they were unable to communicate effectively, and I could only grasp the main idea. They were trying to fill the feeling of void within each other. The next day they managed to get in touch with me, but I wasn't at work or home. Consequently, they had to send someone else to continue studying the case, and that person was a young scientist named Joseph Mantis. When Joseph arrived at the observation room, he was deeply shaken by the horrific sight before him. Only dried skin layers remained on the floor, and there were no longer any living men. They had been completely consumed. As Joseph meticulously examined the body remains, he made a startling discovery. Among the layers of melted flesh, he found my deformed wedding ring. Realization struck him instantly. I was now a part of the conjoined men, forever fused with them, and there would be no separation possible ever again.